Hey guys, welcome to the second podcast on NFL Broadcaster. Today I have a special guest, Mr. Crazy Talk _NFL. Go follow his Instagram. He's being very generous and gonna do the podcast with me today. You might see him on future videos as well. So thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, no problem. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So is there anything today that you wanted to discuss, or any topics, trades, teams? What's the news with you, or just what did you want to discuss today?
I know before the video we were talking a little bit on the Redskins backcourt, but kind of just the running back cores around the league, you know, of all 32 teams, because I think this year...
Oh, for sure.
This year, I don't think that we'll ever see another year where every NFL team, well, nearly every NFL team has a complete set core of running backs that can get it done.
Honestly, I think you might be right. It'd be really hard to rank the top 10 because every team right now is, I mean, pretty decent at running back. They at least have like a big name starter, don't they?
Mm-hmm. One team I love to touch on is the Packers. I actually put it on the one of my
fan.
but on one of my more recent posts.
Yep.
I had put a prediction how I thought that A.J. Dillon's going to be transitioned into that offense. Last year they ran... it's very much a similar situation to what the Broncos put themselves in when they picked up Melvin Gordon. Because last year the Broncos ran with Phillip Lindsay and Royce Freeman. Last season the Packers ran with Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams.
Right, 1-2 punches.
Mm-hmm.
I think A.J. Dillon, he's going to be a stud. I watched him in college, and he's a stud.
He absolutely is. I'm a Boston College fan,
right.
So I keep up with him. I keep with Boston College every year. Not every year, but every year, every other year, always has studs that come out from the league. I mean, look at the quarterbacks that have come out. You have Matt Hasselbeck, and you have Matt Ryan. And then you have running back, you had Andre Williams, who in his rookie season had 1,000 yards rushing, and then the Giants messed it up by bringing Shane Vereen back. But
yeah, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know Matt Ryan was out of Boston College.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
wow.
Matty Ice.
Potential Hall of Famer. I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer, but I mean he's been with that team like 10 or 11 years now, so maybe longer than that. Wow.
I think he's one of those that gets in just because, I mean, he's been to a Super Bowl. He puts up insane numbers.
Yep.
He actually has Drew Brees beaten in a lot of the division records and a lot of conference, which is something a lot of people don't know, is that actually now Mike Thomas and Drew Brees haven't been together as long as Julio and Matt Ryan.
Right.
But even as the path they're set on, and the thing is Breeze, he's going to retire soon. I see him and Brady retiring in the next 3 years.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
Julio, what a lot of people don't realize is that Julio and Matt Ryan are one of the most underrated quarterback wide receiver duos there are in sports history. I mean, I put them personally, not just because I'm a fan of Matty Ice, but I put them personally. I always compare them to what Brady and Randy Moss could have been if Randy Moss and Brady had played together like as long as they did.
Oh yeah, and I think it's because Julio Jones went through that like touchdown drought, and it's not that he wasn't getting targets or receptions. I mean, the guy catches like everything, but it's like he just went through this touchdown drought, and I think people were counting him out for that. And it's usually like because of most people, play fantasy football, and they're like, oh, he's not getting me touchdowns. He's not good. That's definitely not the case. I mean, he went through like, what, 2 seasons or something without or some crazy amount of games without a touchdown.
Something, I don't know. I think it was a season and a half. I don't think it was 2 full seasons. But no, I do remember the season where there is a season where he did not catch a touchdown.
That's nuts. But he's still top 3, I think, wide receivers in the league for sure. If not, he's number 1. Julio Jones is. He
is. I actually argue he's one of the most underrated wide receivers in the league right now, because you hear all the talk about, I'm going to say Devontae Adams, who no doubt top
Ooh.
5 out in the league.
I feel like Devontae's underrated.
He is, but you definitely hear his name more. Like, when's the last time you heard Julio's name when they talk about now? Yes, when they talk about all-time greats or current greats in the league, his name comes up. But right now, the wide receivers you're hearing about are Mike Thomas.
Yeah, that's true.
Even Julian Edelman's name comes up. I mean, granted,
which shouldn't be.
that Edelman's not going to do as good with Brady there, but his name comes up. Devontae Adams, Devontae Parker from Miami,
D-Hop.
I just find it insane that no one talks about Julio Jones, and no one really talks about Matty Ice either. The Falcons are really that team that they have what they need there. They have the stars, they have the things there to attract attention.
Yeah.
No one wants to attract attention to them, and I don't know if it's because they know, it's Matty Ice and Julio Jones. They're going to go and destroy the league,
Yeah. No one's really talked about Matt Ryan since his 2016 MVP campaign. I mean, and every season since then, I think he may have had a down season in 17, but even his down seasons are still above average, and he's not getting the credit he deserves.
Oh no, I mean they crank out a top 5 offense, year in and year out, and that's with an age. I mean, Julio Jones I think turns 31 this year.
31, or 32.
35?
He's up there.
So, even with an aging team, because normally when you have a team like that who's not considered, they're not considered the greats that are around, credit to Matt Ryan for he's 35 years old, and he's been able to crank out a top 5 offense, a top 5 quarterback play. And, that's with the last 2 seasons, Devontae Freeman has been nothing but hurt. Tevin Coleman left for the Niners last year.
And he's hurt too, wasn't he? For a while?
Yeah, he got hurt for a little bit. He wasn't as injury prone. He's more injury prone with the Niners, which I think is why Falcons didn't re-sign him, which is the same reason they re-signed Devontae Freeman. But, I mean, Ito Smith, when he gets the starting job, he goes down.
They don't really have the best O-line, though, do they?
They don't.
Well, they have, who's their center, Alex Mack?
Yes.
And, I mean, he's one of the best in the league, but that's it. I don't know anyone else on the O-line at all.
And he's really the only... Yeah, he's the only one I can think of.
I'm not even a Falcons guy, and I know that just because he's one of the best in the league, and I think he's underrated. But
he is, but I think that's because his age. I mean, he's up in his. I think he's as old as, if not older than Matt Ryan. Maybe a few years. He's not far off from Matt Ryan.
Yeah, he probably isn't. I think if the Falcons really want to get the running game going and more protection for Matt Ryan, I think signing Jason Peters to a 1-year contract would be A-okay. Even though the guy's 38, 39 years old.
I mean, even Jason Peters is that guy, and I despise the Eagles. I really do.
Yeah, I feel
Having
that.
to deal with Eagles fans would tell me all the time, Jason Peters, he's going to play till he's 45. What do you think he is, George Blanda? No.
But you know what? Jason Peters is from Arkansas, and Boo Pig. But so I'm a Peters fan, but I'm not an Eagles fan. But anyone that comes out of Arkansas, Hunter Henry, dude, the guy's a stud. And I work security at the university, so I get to go to the athletics, and I get to go spend a lot of time in the football stadium, and it's so cool. And is the most insane part of my day is I just get to go in there and walk around.
To change the subject, talk about Hunter Henry.
Yeah, sure.
I did post. It's in one of my earlier posts, obviously. And it's one of those things. So on my post, side comment on my posts, I have breaking news and then under the rug news. Under the rug news is usually just small comments about players. Okay. Hunter Henry had made the comment that he is okay playing on a franchise tag, which I'm sorry, that's the mentality when you're in a situation like Hunter Henry's that you need to have, because he's shown clearly that he is a top tier tight end. He has the ability, he has the the raw talent he needs for that, but he can't stay on the field.
Which surprisingly was not a problem at Arkansas. At Arkansas, I think he was there 4 years at Arkansas, and I don't think he had a single drop or like a catchable throw. Like statistically, I don't think he had a single drop out of any of his targets. I can look that up to make sure, but it was like if he had any drops, it was definitely under 5 or 10 for his entire career, and I don't think he was hurt that often or at all.
I think it definitely goes into, it plays into the same role of the transition to the NFL. I don't care who you are, whether your name's Trevor Lawrence, Tua Tagovailoa, Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield, Tom Brady.
Yep.
I don't care what your name is. There's always, with any player, there are growing pains and there's adjustments to the NFL, because the NFL is not college, which is what I love about both of them, because, it's awesome to see players from college transition in the NFL, but it is also amazing. I love college football and I love the NFL because I can watch the two of them separately and have a separate opinion. I don't have to look at it and be like, well, how's this compared to the NFL? No,
yeah, for sure.
College football is just that, college football. And then the NFL is the NFL.
Two different levels.
It's not like basketball where, not to change the subject to different, but it's not like basketball where you have the NBA, the G League, and the
baseball, you got AA, AAA.
Yeah, exactly.
Single
like
A.
you have so many different levels. Like college guys who play baseball, it's not a difficult transition because unless they're a top tier talent, they're most likely going to double or single A. They're not going to the big time leagues, which that's what makes college football so exciting, is seeing these guys like Joe Burrow and Tua, even next year with Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence, is to see them be able to transition. Can they make the transition? And Hunter Henry showed he can make the transition. I just think the transition came at a cost of, the wear and tear, and it showed with Gronk. Playing tight end playing that ability of tight end is difficult. It wears down your body. No matter who you are. I mean, Gronk was a beast and a stud, and he's back now. But that's why he left. Is because he even admitted his body was being destroyed.
He was broken down, but I didn't like. I don't know. Like, I'm not a Patriots fan and I'm not a Gronk fan. And I just don't like. He said he was like gonna retire if he didn't play with Brady, and he legit did. And now that he can play with Brady, he's like, I'm unretired and come back to football. And now he's feeling like oh, I feel fine. I just needed a season or two to heal. And I don't know. But tight end, especially when you're that size, you do take a beating, especially when you block a lot. I don't know if Gronk was much of a blocker because he's kind of made of glass, but
he was earlier on in his career. I mean, he always was, but he's more kind of that break and go route guy.
Yeah, definitely.
He was there. He'd be there. He'd go take down that one D end, and he'd be off. For the 15-yard slant, or something like that.
Yeah, and I think at Arkansas, Hunter Henry, his like freshman and sophomore year, I don't even think he was a starter. I think he was used as a lineman to block, and then they figured out that the guy has hands, and he's huge. I mean, he's just a big dude, and it kind of sucks because I think he's already like 25 or 26 years old, which is kind of old for like only being in the league 4 years, 3 years. I don't know. He may be on his contract here.
He was one of the late bloomers. I always consider late bloomers like when they come in the league at 23, 24, compared to guys who are coming to the league at 21 years. I mean, I always say I'd rather take a 21-year-old rookie over a 23-year-old rookie, because you get those. Think about it. I mean,
that's 2 seasons of development.
Right, guy's already 25 years old. He's already 5 years off from being 30. While the guy who's 21, you have those 2 extra years. So could this guy possibly this 21-year-old be prepped in 1 year, at 22 years old to be a stud starter compared to this guy who's 23 who I'm going to have to work with, because there's even a lot of different maturity between 21 and 23. You got to work with different personality. I mean, it's the same of, you can't work with an 18-year-old the way you'd work with a 19-year-old, because the 19-year-old, is slightly mature and knows a little bit more than what the 18-year-old knows.
Yeah, like when I'm 21, so like I can't imagine coming out of college right now and playing for the NFL, and just, you have to be mentally in check for that. Like when I was 18, I was not ready for that, like something like that. I look back now, and when I was 18 years old, I'm thinking, why in the world did I think that? Why did I say that? Why would I ever think that way, process new information that way? But I've gone through a lot since I was 18 years old, and just the last 3 years alone, it just makes me feel like, it just shows you how much a short time can change someone. And I think, especially with Tua and his injuries, he's 21 years old. That's young. If he could sit behind Fitzpatrick for a year or two at least and heal and learn, he'll still be 23 years old in 2 years, which is young. That's like rookies still coming out of college at 23 years old. And he could have 2 years under his belt. Hunter Henry wasn't as fortunate as that. He was like 22, or I don't know. I mean, I guess he was like 21 maybe, but I just feel like he's older. I think he was older for a senior in college.
Well, I mean, there is, and then you could take the extreme case of there was Brandon Wheaton, who came out of Oklahoma State at 28 years old.
Who was that? Brandon Wheaton?
Brandon Wheaton. He was he was quarterback for the Browns when Colt McCoy
I remember that. How did he 28 years old and he got drafted?
Yeah, the Browns picked him up. I can't remember when.
I thought he was with Dallas, or was that later in his career? I know he's with the Browns though.
I think he was with Dallas after he was with the Browns, because the Browns got rid of him. Because the Browns got rid of him and Colt McCoy at the same time, and Colt McCoy got picked up by the
Is he the Redskins? He was with the Redskins for like ever. Is he still there?
Nope. Wait. Yes. No.
I don't know.
I can't remember.
But I remember I remember watching Colt McCoy in college when Texas used to be like #1 powerhouse. Now Colt McCoy's like 35 years old or 34 or something like that, and I'm like, where's time gone? I didn't know Brandon Wheaton was 28 years old. Who would? That looks so bad, especially on the Browns. That just makes you look bad drafting a 28-year-old quarterback, and then he doesn't even do. I mean, if you draft a 28-year-old quarterback, you got like 2-3 years tops of prime play, because he's got to develop for a year or two at least to even be considered a top-tier quarterback. So by the time he's 31, 32 years old, you're like almost exiting your prime.
Oh yeah. I really don't know how. I don't know how he got drafted, but then again, it was the Browns in 2012. So
Peyton Hillis, is that the year they got Peyton Hillis?
Yeah, Peyton
Another
Hillis,
guy out of Arkansas.
The Madden cover.
The Madden curse. I think he started the Madden curse, man.
No, that started back with Dante Culpepper, when Dante Culpepper was the
Vikings
cover athlete, and then he went down with I think he broke his collarbone.
The Vikings. He was with the Vikings. Dante Culpepper. Was he on the cover of 02, Madden 02?
Yep.
Holy crap! I used to play Madden 02 with my dad and my brother on PlayStation 2, and Culpepper was on, and he was like in the game. He was like an all right QB, but like you never heard of him after that.
Oh yeah, that was the whole Madden curse.
Daggum. That sucks.
Yeah. But I actually want to touch on Tua a little bit.
Okay.
And we had talked about it. I talked about it with you a little bit prior, when we were before the podcast ran. That where he got injured, his hip. A lot of people say, the Dolphins medical staff says he's healthy. The NFL medical staffs around the league say he's healthy. He's passed medical examination. After my rehabilitation, I pulled my plantar fascia in the 5th grade. It took me 2
Yeah.
years to recover. You know, after those 2 years, my doctor told me I'm fine.
Yeah.
When I was in the 5th grade, I ran a 6:30 mile. I'm not even lying about that.
I ran my fastest mile. I'm sorry. My fastest mile was in 6th grade. I ran 6:12, and after that, never again. I can't even get a 7-minute mile.
Well, that's what happened the first ever time. Now I had conditioned myself back to learning how to run because I was going to get back into. I played soccer and I wrestled.
Oh, nice.
And I also played lacrosse. And I wanted to get back to those things, so I did a lot of conditioning and training.
That's some good
to get
cardio.
back to those things. And I did my first mile. I wanted to, you know, I was finally cleared completely. No more nothing of having to deal with it.
Heck yeah.
I ran a 9-minute mile.
That's a little rough.
You know, that slowly got back. I think my senior year, the fastest mile I ran was still a 7:52, I think was it. You know, it was right off at 8 minutes. And I look at it all the time, and I always look back to it of if I never hurt my foot, you know, because the ultimate thing is I'd be running, keeping up pace, and then my foot would hit. You know, my plantar fascia would get at me. And then I got diagnosed with chronic tendonitis in my knees.
Dang, dude.
So yeah, my brother's medical history is worse.
So is my brother's.
Yeah. Oh yeah. His is a little bit worse than mine. But you know, we both know that's why we both look and we don't trust Tua's injuries because it's the same reason we don't trust Carson Wentz's. You look at Carson Wentz's injury history; it goes as far back as Tua's, all the way from high school. You know, little nagging injuries you can get. And it
shows.
Look at, you know, I mean, Carson Wentz broke his hand one time. You know, Tua went down with a knee injury. You know, then he went down with a hip injury. The difference between Wentz and Tua is that Wentz's are just, you know, they affect his throwing a little bit. He can work around them. You know, obviously even Tom Brady had a broken thumb and he went back out there. He had the trainer wrap it up, went out to the next game and still threw passes. You know, you can work around this.
That time Phillip Rivers played on a torn ACL.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there are things you can play on. I mean, Matt Hasselbeck played when he had a sinus infection, when he was back up for the Colts. Andrew Luck was down. He played 4 games. He played 2 of those games with a sinus infection.
Damn.
And they were 2 of the best games of his career. I mean, you know, Michael Jordan's flu game. There are things you can work and play around. However, Tua's injuries, when you're in the hip and you're in the pocket, even when he's running, where are they going to be tackling? At his legs. They're going to be going for the knees. They're going to be going for the hip. And someone told me, well, then they have, you know, those players have to be fined for targeting. No, they're not targeting. They're doing what they do. Look at what happens when you tackle someone. You're not going for the upper body because then you get things like, not the Music City Miracle. Whatever the Minnesota Miracle when Stephon Diggs caught that amazing, you know, at St. Pat. What happened? Don't go for the full body. You make mistakes, and the mistakes don't get made in the NFL. He's gonna take hits like that. Yeah. You know, and how much hits can he take before he's not healthy again?
I think they're gonna constantly be worrying about that hip. And the thing is like most of the time, like a correct tackle is when you lead like with your shoulder and you put your body through their body, you know, and you wrap up. And a lot of times you're not wrapping up at their arms, or you may not even go for their legs, but you're going for their mid-body. Even if you get hit in the torso, you're going to feel that like pressure in your hips. If you rotate or you turn wrong and they spin you and your foot is still driven in the turf or the, you know, like on the field, you got those cleats on, your hip rotates wrong. I mean, the hip is...
The thing is hip. In the NFL, a hip or leg injury is, I always say, the worst possible injury you can have in the NFL.
Makes it too vulnerable.
Because, like, even shoulder injuries. Like, okay, you're a Packers fan. Aaron Rodgers.
Absolutely,
broke the collarbone. Didn't he break those collarbones?
Yeah, Anthony Barr, I think, broke it on the Vikings.
But he, you know, you can come back from that. Look at him. He's still, Aaron Rodgers still a top 10 quarterback.
Oh, for sure.
even Peyton Manning, that's a little excessive and kind of a miracle. He went through 4 neck surgeries.
Thought his career was over, to be honest.
His career is good, but he could still play in the league. They weren't concerned because you're not getting your neck hit. Guys aren't coming. Go, come on,
yeah.
Go down.
And and I think he had to adapt to get rid of the ball too. And then, Peyton Manning was never a running quarterback, but they utilized that too. People knew he was injured, so they'd call like a bootleg quarterback sneak where everyone's running to the right and he's just standing back there with the ball and runs to the left to the end zone, And they utilize the fact that people know about his neck injury, and like they do want to protect him, but they also use it to an advantage. And 2013 was the best season by a quarterback I've ever witnessed in my entire life, because he had Wes Welker, Eric Decker, Demaryius Thomas, Julius Thomas, stacked defense.
He on that team too.
That no-fly zone. Yeah, that team was amazing. Just
the 1 year Eric Decker was relevant.
Yeah, so it's a little off topic, but that season I had Eric Decker, Wes Welker, and from the Packers I had Jordy Nelson, and I had Aaron Rodgers and Eddie Lacy, and I think he was good that year. So I had them all on my fantasy team. I won the championship.
Oh yeah, no wonder.
Yeah, I totally. I smoked everyone. It wasn't even close that year. But
that's just my uncle said in 2000. I think it was 2009. It was the only ever fantasy championship he won.
Yeah.
Again, off topic, but he had Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison, and Reggie Wayne, and everyone told him he was insane for taking 3 Colts players and 2 Colts wide receivers, and he went and he blew up the league.
Who was you mean Reggie Wayne?
Yeah, Reggie Wayne, my bad.
No, it's cool. I was like, who's that? No, Reggie Wayne? I think he's an all-time great, and I think he's so underrated. Like, he's known for, like, how many receptions he has, but, like, him and Peyton Manning, oh, my God. And remember Dallas Clark, the tight end for the Colts? He was so underrated, and I love Dallas Clark.
He was. Absolutely.
Yeah, Dallas Clark was one of my favorite tight ends in history. And, but, yeah, people think you're crazy, and I had a plan, dude. I had a plan. The next season, in 2014, one of Aaron Rodgers' best seasons of his career, in my league, it's just with my dad and some of his work friends. So we got 2 keepers. I kept Aaron Rodgers, and I believe LaShawn McCoy, because I still had him. So I had Aaron Rodgers, Shady McCoy, then I drafted Jordy, Randall Cobb. I had like the entire, and I think I somehow got Eddie Lacy again. I had the entire Packers offense on my team, really. And every time Aaron Rodgers threw the ball, I knew. And I had, oh my God, no, I'm sorry. When did Jermichael Finley? I had him 1 year. He was the Packers tight end that got like a broken back, a broken neck. But I just knew every time Aaron Rodgers dropped back, one of my guys was going to catch the ball and score. And Aaron Rodgers threw like 45 touchdowns that season. I won again. So it was so fun.
Oh no doubt. That actually is talking fantasy. That actually I want to retail back to running backs.
Go.
A lot of running backs, especially in fantasy football, this year, have a lot more value in a dynasty league than they do in actual just one season leagues. I say that because you have guys like A.J. Dillon. I believe that there's 2 scenarios I see going back to the Packers. There's 2 scenarios. Aaron Jones's contract is up next year.
Correct.
Not this next season, next season. There's the possibility that they run with both of them as a 1-2 punch option. Or that A.J. Dillon takes the spot from Aaron Jones and they let Aaron Jones walk.
Which is why they drafted him. I know the Packers draft is like infuriated probably 100% of the nation, unless you're against the Packers. But
it makes sense to me, honestly.
They got a steal with A.J. Dillon. That guy was like, Boston College is so underrated. Like, this guy was setting records, and no one even had him in like a first or second round pick, and this guy was like breaking records. So I think they got a steal with him. Absolutely.
He absolutely some other running backs that I want to keep an eye on for future years is because and there's a lot of people who disagree with that. I was always big on always big on J.K. Dobbins, just because in the Big Ten, I mean, I remember watching him. Now, I used to work at Penn State. I vended.
Oh, awesome.
I remember I was up there for the one Ohio State game.
Yeah.
And DJ. I mean, yeah, DJ. J.K. Dobbins.
J.K. Dobbins.
Just obliterated. I remember watching the game. Penn State. It was Penn State and Ohio State, and it was Saquon Barkley's senior season. And Saquon's out here. Yeah. You know, he's going. I think he had 200 yards rushing that game. You know, something he had. You know, normal Saquon Barkley stats. And then there's this guy, this sophomore, J.K. Dobbins, who was just, you know, you weren't watching Saquon that game, because there was just a sophomore running back out of Ohio State who is this kid? You know, this kid is doing, you know, Saquon's doing this. Well, he's coming back and doing the same thing.
It's like a shootout of running backs.
Mm-hmm. And watching him, he is just, I say he's a B grade Saquon, just because Saquon is such, I mean, the man's physique is just a gift from God.
It really is, dude. He's built and like he's fast and like his agility is off the charts. Saquon, I'll have him at number 1. If they had a better O-line, I think he would be doing amazing things, better than what he did last year.
I actually think because they lack an O-line a little bit, I actually put that they're going to give the ball to Saquon more.
How's that?
Because Daniel, you know, you have Daniel Jones in the back. I still don't believe in Daniel Jones. A lot of people can't. It's the reason why, you know, it's the reason why I picked my name that I picked. You know, my name is Mr. Crazy Talk for a reason. I don't believe in Daniel Jones. I don't believe in Sam Darnold. I don't believe in Baker Mayfield.
I don't either.
I don't, you know, I believe probably the most unpopular things. You know, I think Tua's going to get hurt. He's not going to be great. Kyler Murray, I don't believe in Kyler Murray.
I don't either. I 100% agree with you with everything you've said so far. Like, I think Kyler Murray could be better, and I think he's going to get better. But I don't believe in Baker Mayfield. I think he's just going to be your average Browns quarterback, maybe above average for Browns, but
he's definitely going to be above average. I mean, he already, just in the years he's played, I mean, has already pushed that. But
he's above average for the Browns, but not for the league, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And Sam Darnold, I don't know.
Sam Darnold, I just thought they lost Robbie Anderson, and a lot of people told me, you know, well, they have Bashard Perryman. Oh, okay. When was the last time Bashard Perryman was actually relevant in the league? You know, it's just magical to me. I avoided Bashard Perryman in any of the fantasy leagues. I'm in 5 of them.
Daggum.
I avoided in all of them. He was a free agent. He instantly got picked up. When the Jets signed him, he got picked up by one of the teams in fantasy. And I'm like, when did Bashard Perryman magically ascend to this wide-out one talent who is just going to do insane in the league?
Especially with Sam Darnold throwing the ball.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have – I will admit, Sam Darnold – it's the same thing I'll admit for any QB in the league. I will admit, Baker Mayfield has talent. Sam Darnold has talent. Daniel Jones has talent. You know, Josh Allen has talent. Now, Josh Allen I do believe in, but you know, you don't go – in today's NFL – every quarterback in the league has talent. Kirk Cousins has talent. You know, Tom Brady at 5 million years old still has talent. Phillip Rivers, I don't care what people say about him. That's my California team, you know, because I was born in California. Me and my brother have I told you about that. Me and my brother have the rule. We have a California team. His is the Niners, and he's always cheered for the Niners. And mine's the Chargers. Because I love Phillip Rivers. I love what they had. Phillip Rivers is definitely one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the league.
Oh, yeah, I think so. I've always been a Rivers fan.
For the last 10 years, he has been.
Always rooted for Rivers. I only liked the Chargers because of Rivers, but now Hunter Henry's on them. I like I like Hunter Henry and Austin Eckler. I like Austin Eckler. But back to Phillip Rivers, yes. I consistently, and I did a video on this too, about Phillip Rivers and why I believe he's going to do great at Indianapolis, because Indianapolis has like one of the top 3 O-lines in the league right now. And for the past, since 2014, I think it was 2014, Phillip Rivers has not had an offensive line that's ranked above 26th in the league.
Oh yeah, he's never had. That's why he's thrown the. That's why he has the interception number he has. Is because he's never looked at him.
Constantly trying to do something in garbage time.
His interceptions have never come from him standing in the pocket and being like, I'm gonna throw here now. Maybe 1 or 2, but they've always come from hurried plays. That's poor judgment on him. Rather than throwing away, he tries to make a pass. Kudos to him, but then it gets intercepted.
Yeah, it does.
That's how you get Phillip Rivers. I always make the joke, even though I say I love Rivers, I always knock Rivers because I say Phillip Rivers is the only quarterback that you will see throw a game record passing yards and passing touchdowns and still lose the football game.
Yeah, I mean that seems accurate. They always find a way to lose, and he'll still pass for over 300, 400 yards sometimes, and it's.
Like he had a stretch of I forget what year it was, but he had a stretch of 500-yard plus passing yards and 4 to 5 touchdowns in each of those games. I mean, he was phenomenal, and they lost. They still lost by 3 points, and I'm like, I don't understand.
They always find a way, dude. Like, I think there was a stat that the Chargers, like, not last year, maybe the year before or the year before that, but like it was like 7 out of 8 of their losses came in the last 2 minutes of a game, or were lost by less than a touchdown in every single loss, or it's just something silly. And I felt so bad for Phillip Rivers, and I think he's gonna really love being on a new team.
I definitely think I'm one of those people that says the Colts are a playoff contender. I won't say they're a Super Bowl contender. I say they're a playoff contender. One, because Phillip Rivers has consistently gotten the Chargers to the playoffs, and they haven't done anything.
Yeah,
he consistently throughout his career had pushed them. I shouldn't say consistent. Every once in a while, the Chargers would get to the playoffs, and they'd lose. Granted, they'd go up against someone like the Patriots, but
always,
they just could never push past that. But this Indy team is one of the most complete teams that Phillip Rivers will ever play on.
They're young.
Keenan Allen is great. T.Y. Hilton is just as good as Keenan Allen.
Just when he's healthy.
They knock a lot on the wideout core.
Yeah.
At Indy, I don't see a problem with it.
No, they've always had good. Indianapolis has always had good wide receivers, man. You got to think they produced T.Y. Hilton, Philip Dorsett started there, Griffin Whalen. He was never used, and he was amazing. I feel like he was just like this slot receiver that was never used. There was other like under the radar wide receivers that like aren't with them anymore that should be, and they were so good. I know that's off topic, but they always have some kind of wide receiver core. It's just like they can't get them going.
Well, I think that the other thing with that is after Manning left, even though Andrew Luck, great guy, never really cheered for him, especially after he went down. The second time he went down, I'm like, okay, he's done. It's the reason he retired early. People try to say it's because the game's too aggressive. No, he's just injury prone. There's some guys that are just injury prone. Actually, it makes me want to touch on another quarterback who I think I've been saying I am a Steelers fan. I am a realistic Steelers fan. I will tell you, I have predicted that the Steelers would not make the playoffs. I've said every year, even the years they've made the playoffs, when they had AB, when they had the 3 Bs, when they had Roethlisberger, when they had Big Ben, AB, and Bell, when they had those 3, they make the playoffs. I'm like, they're not going to the Super Bowl. What are you talking about? They're a Super Bowl team. They're not going to go to the Super Bowl. Le'Veon Bell is not a good running back when it comes to postseason play. He played in one divisional round game He had, yes, 100 yards, but he never is healthy for the playoffs. And I'm sorry, in my mind, you can have regular season stats all you want. You can pass for 70,000 yards and make Tom Brady look foolish. Make Drew Brees look like he's a 5-year-old throwing the football. If you can't get to the playoffs, if you can't stay healthy for the playoffs, if you can't play in the playoffs, and if you can't get to the Super Bowl at least once,
then it doesn't matter.
You're not a good running back in my mind. And what has he done with the Jets? They have not done anything since he's been there.
Yeah, he's not good. I mean, especially after he sat out an entire season, I was like, this guy is not worth that kind of money. Like, I knew he was really good with the Steelers. Don't get me wrong, the guy was freaking amazing.
Oh yeah, he absolutely was.
But it's like it's almost like one of those system running backs. Like, he's just, he's not going to be the same somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's how Brady's going to be, honestly. He's not going to be the same.
Are you kidding me? I'm sorry. I got to disagree with you there. I'm one guy. I'm pulling for the Bucks because...
For real?
Brady, okay, just hear me out on this. I put a post out that I think I had a theory. It was one of my theory posts, and it was about Devontae Freeman and how the Bucks should go out and get Devontae Freeman, convince him to take a lower cut deal to play with Tom Brady, because just looking at it, that O-line, that defense is set. That defense is everything it needs to be. And they have Bruce Arians. And my thing is I love Bruce Arians as a coach because Bruce Arians did what with Kurt Warner? Went to a Super Bowl. What did he do with Kurt? He took a injury-prone Carson Palmer and cranked out 5 years of insane quarterback play that we always knew Carson Palmer was capable of, and
he was old too.
Cardinals team to the NFC Championship game with the injury-prone Carson Palmer.
Get beat by the Packers.
That's that's why that's why Jameis Winston did not work in with the Bucks. That's why he just didn't fit the system, because Bruce Arians doesn't work with young QBs. He works with those veteran guys, which is, I made the argument that even if they took Phillip Rivers, I'd have the Bucks potentially making the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Because Bruce Arians, he works with a veteran guy. Because he can look at them and they can look at him, and he can go, look, this is what we're doing. This is how we're doing it. Now let's go do it. Rather than a young guy, he's got to look at him and go, hey, you don't make that mistake. We got to, fix this. Rather than with Tom Brady, he can look at him and be like, what are you doing? You're Tom frickin' Brady. I know. Don't do that next time. Okay.
My issue is with Brady and the Bucks. Yes, they are going to have great receivers to throw to, but Bruce Arians is an aerial attack coach. And I know for a fact, Brady, he can sling it, but he does not have the kind of arm that Palmer had. He's not one of the top tier arm quarterbacks, and you can see that from how many screens he throws, and I think it's going to be difficult for him.
This is where it gets mixed up. I actually have heard a lot of people make the same argument. It's because, he uses the running back so much. He uses tight ends so much. Brady doesn't throw the ball. I heard someone even try to make the argument to me, which my brother almost fainted upon when I told him that Brady has not thrown the ball deep since he had Randy Moss, which here's the thing.
That's not true. I know that's not true.
But the Patriots, they played a West Coast style offense. They always have. West Coast style offense, you aren't throwing 20, 30-yard passes. You're throwing 10, 15. You're getting the first down. You're making the defense tired. You're throwing screens. You're dumping off to the running back. Your tight end's right there on a cut route. Bam. Your wideouts are going slants across from each other, waiting for one to find an open pocket there where there's no defender, and you throw it up to him. The thing is he now has guys that they can do anything. And Tom Brady, I'm sorry, I have the one rule of the NFL is never question Bill. Bill Belichick. That's my one rule. The one mentality I have is I never will throw in the towel on Brady.
Okay.
Because people say he had a terrible year last year. He had 3,500 yards. He had 35 touchdowns, only like 10 interceptions.
Yeah, I don't think he had a terrible year.
He had a good QB year. I mean, it wasn't normal Tom Brady we're used to, but he also didn't have a receiving core. To look at what he could do with the little receiving core he had, and now he is having the best set of wide receivers he has ever played.
And Mike Evans is huge. He's so tall. I love Mike Evans. He's gonna be good.
I mean, even his tight ends. I mean, now you go and take O.J. Howard out of they're going to trade O.J. Howard by the time the regular season starts.
But you still got Cameron Brate,
and Gronk, and a healthy Gronk. And Gronk, I know for a fact, is definitely more healthy because he's 15 pounds lighter than what he retired in the league in. He's lighter, he's faster, he's stronger than what he was. I mean, I watched a lot of his workout videos.
And he's excited to play again.
Oh, yeah. Now, the running back core, that's where I say Devontae Freeman needs to come in. And I think they could get Devontae Freeman to take a 1-year, $4 million deal of what, I forget who offered in that.
Seattle.
I think Seattle offered in that before they took Carlos Hyde. I think they could offer that because, I'm sorry, it's Tom frickin' Brady.
Who wouldn't want to go? I mean, yes, I totally agree. The Bucks, any team with Brady, I think is going to be one of those top tier teams, and you're gonna have to worry about them. And if I had the opportunity, I probably would not reject a 1-year, $4 million offer to go play with Tom Brady, Gronk, Mike Evans, a young defense, an above average O-line. Like, no, I would take it too. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Brady is like not a good quarterback. I just think I don't want to set an expectation.
With aging comes downgrading, comes, not as strong of an arm. We see that with Drew Brees. Drew Brees can't launch the ball like he could before. Actually, to touch on Brady, to wind out to New England.
Yeah,
I hear a lot of people. Everyone is bashing Stidham. Why are they going with Jared Stidham and they might be running with Brian Hoyer? It goes to my one rule, which no one ever listens to.
Don't question Bill.
Never question Bill. Well, no why
No, I agree with you.
Is Julian Edelman was a quarterback from Kent State, turned into one of the best. He drafted him, turns him into one of the best wide receivers in Patriots history. He had Gronk and Aaron Hernandez. Those are probably his two top picks.
Yeah.
I mean, he gets Philip Dorsett from Indy. A guy who was third tier, I think, on the, he wasn't a top guy.
Right.
And he goes to New England and he's here, catching 5-6 passes a game.
No, I totally have faith in Bill Belichick. That's why I think I'm never going to count out the Patriots. I think Bill Belichick knows exactly what he's doing. He's such a smart guy. And like any player can go to the Patriots and just become a superstar. You can be undrafted. Take it from the Arkansas players because Dietrich Wise, Trey Flowers, and I think they have one of the Hollister. Jacob Hollister was not an Arkansas player, but he's the twin of Cody Hollister, who was on the Patriots practice squad. And Cody Hollister was one of those guys out of Arkansas. He was like a third stringer. He came in the game, but he never dropped a pass, and he was always clutch, and nobody noticed him. But Mr. Bill noticed him, and he notices, though, he just knows talent. I love Bill Belichick. Like, I don't like the Patriots at all, and I don't like Bill Belichick, but I like Bill Belichick. It's so hard to, like, you just know. I never count him out either, and I 100% agree with you on that.
Because I keep looking at people, I'm like, I said through all of this, there is something that Bill sees that none of us do, and it's going to show when the catchphrase I always say is, we got to wait for Hike.
Yeah? What's that?
We got to wait till Hike. And it is going to show from the first time Jared Stidham says Hike, he's going to go, and you're just going to see magic.
Yeah, that Hike, that I get what you mean.
No, yeah.
I was like, wait, what do you mean Hike? Duh. Like, Hike. Yeah, I think they're not going to have a problem at quarterback. He knows. I guarantee they've been doing stuff. Even like with all this COVID stuff going on, he's been preparing Jared. So I think they're going to be fine. They always find a way to be okay.
When they're wideout, I mean, their tight ends. To touch on their wideouts quick, I do feel N'Keal Harry is going to do a lot better now with Stidham. I see N'Keal Harry exploding with Stidham, which I think I have a conspiracy theory that Bill drafted N'Keal Harry not for Brady, for Stidham.
Makes sense. Because I think Brady and Belichick knew that they weren't going to be together the next year. So
they knew it.
Yeah.
Brady knew it at the start of the season.
Yeah, he did.
He knew what he was doing, and Bill knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
I think, which is why Bill didn't really, people say that Bill sabotaged Brady. I heard someone that Bill sabotaged Brady's career in New England just to get him out. He sabotaged you. No,
you wouldn't do that.
Tom Brady has had the most. He has passed the most wide receivers. He has the most touchdowns to different wide receivers.
Yeah.
And he always has a rotating. Now, I did word this wrong one time when I was debating with one friend, and I said Brady never keeps the same receivers. I didn't mean to word it like that, because then he came back and he goes, well, he had Edelman for 2 years, and he had Gronk. He had Edelman for 10 years, and he had Gronk for 10 years. What I mean by that is, outside of his top guys, they're always, the door is always evolving.
Yeah.
Look at his entire career. He's never had the same maintained set, of
Chris
guys.
Hogan.
When Edelman was on the team, Edelman didn't become relevant until 4 years ago. It goes in stages. There was the Corey Dillon. There was the Deion Branch.
Yeah, I remember Branch. He was good.
There was Aaron Hernandez. There was Gronk. Then there was the Edelman era. They go in eras. I actually got that from Colin Cowherd, who is, again, one of my, he's my idol. I look up to when it comes to sports a lot, because I agree with a lot of, he says a lot of the craziest things there are.
Yeah, he does.
But that's just fact. It goes in eras, and even though there's guys that may stick around for a while, they're never relevant for those 10 years. They're never the same guys. They always come and fade. I remember Wes Welker. I will always remember.
Oh yeah, he's good.
Patriot. He was with forever. But his time, he came up and he faded down.
Makes sense. That's just how that's how Bill Belichick works, and that's his system. And it just makes sense. I do. So I'm probably gonna have to call this podcast here. As much as I hate it, because I could talk football literally forever.
I could. I have that disease too.
Yeah. No. That's why I actually started this channel. I was like, I talk football all the time. Might as well make a channel. But I got an interview, another podcast at 7:00, and I got to eat dinner. But, dude, I would love to have you back on anytime, because I'll be doing this for hopefully a very long time. And it's just great content. And I think you're just great at keeping a conversation going. So everyone who's watching, please make sure you follow Mr. Crazy Talk _NFL on Instagram. He's just starting out. Please go give him some support.
The craziest talk you'll hear in the NFL.
The greatest talk show you'll ever hear about the NFL. True dat. No, actually, I'm first. Just kidding. No, but we all got to start somewhere.
I didn't say greatest. I said craziest talk you'll hear in the NFL.
Yeah, no, well, you know what? Collaboration and getting your name out there is how we all start, So, just keep in contact with me. Just keep DMing me on Instagram, and we'll do this like real soon. Hopefully within the next couple days, and we'll just get some podcasts recorded. But I am going to have to call it there. Everyone, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'd really appreciate it. Comment with your feedback, your thoughts, your opinions. Hope you guys enjoyed having the guest today. This is podcast number 2, and I'll see y'all later.